Hello friends, how's it going? I'm at AF1 Racing in Austin, Texas again. I really like this place. And there's a bike back there. Where is it? Where's my finger? There you go. Boing. It's the 2025 Triumph Rocket 3. It's the GT version. I'm gonna go take that for a spin. Let's go check that thing out. It is a beast.
All right, this is a 2,458cc liquid-cooled 12-valve dual overhead cam inline 3-cylinder with a shaft drive. It pumps out 180 horsepower, 166 foot-pounds of torque. Its seat height is 29.5 inches or 750 millimeters. Wheelbase 66 inches or 1,677 millimeters. Fuel tank holds 4.76 gallons or 18 liters. It's kind of a hefty bike. It weighs 705.48 pounds or 320 kilos. It's got a front tire, the measurement's a 150. The rear tire is a fat 240. Front and rear suspension show a fully adjustable. Front brakes Brembo twin 320mm disc 4-piston, and the rear brakes is a Brembo single 300mm disc 4-piston. And its display is a full color TFT.
Okay, I'm all suited up. Let's get on this guy. This is a very big bike, but seat height is pretty low. Yeah, it's about 705 pounds, something like that. But it came off the ground pretty easy. You know, normally you got a big heavy bike like this, you want to turn the bars this way and then sit it up, which is a lot easier, but I didn't need to do that. I didn't need to do that with this bike. Comes up pretty quick. All right, so this is again the 2025 Triumph Rocket 3 GT version. It has the swept back handlebars here, so they come back a little bit. It's more like a cruiser. It's got the front little screen on it, and it has the back little rest pad there, lower back pad for the passenger, the pillion. Other than that, everything else is pretty much the same. Got lots of buttons here. Got the side mirrors. Let's get those fixed first before we go for a ride. Okay, so over here we've got cruise control here, modes that you can do on the fly, turn signal, left and right, horn, and this is the selector button for this cool screen. The screen also, how do you do this? It moves, so you can kind of tilt it, which is pretty cool if you're a taller rider. Okay, so all Triumphs have to have the clutch in to start it. I'm not going to start it quite yet because this is here's the home button over here, down here for the screen. Hazards and the lock button. If you push this after you turn the bike off, it'll lock the steering. Just a little different. It's one button, so you press all the way up and hold it, and that'll turn the screen on. And this screen is pretty cool. It is a digital screen, although it does look old school. It's meant to look like that. It's very cool. I like it. I mean, I would have been cool with the double headlights out front and having two. That would be cool too, but this is nice. And I can see it, read it, no problem. So you got your revs over here, speedometer, gear selector in the middle, and miles, time, all that good stuff. So you got your riding modes. Here we got rain. We've got, let's go, okay, road. This is road here, the little street. Sport is the twisty road. And back to road. I'm going to put it in rain and then cycle through as I take it for a ride and see how they differentiate from each other. So this will take a little bit of getting used to. It's got forward controls. Also there's an outlet here, so you can plug something in if you need to. Plug your phone in or whatever. And on the front you've got your high beams here, high beam flasher. Okay, let's get the kickstand up. Alright, so this has got stock exhaust on it. Sounds pretty good. It's a very wide bike. This is huge. Although this tank is I think I went over the figures before, but I think it's 4.7. I don't have it right in front of me now. So it's not a very big tank in terms of holding fuel, but it is a very big tank sitting in front of you. It's very wide. Okay. So now watch this gear selector. I like to see the little neutral. There's a little cog gear thing there, and when you put it in gear, it moves. Let's check this out. That's cool. The little cog moves with it. Okay, so we're in first gear. Okay, I got to get the ergonomics kind of into the muscle memory a little bit. Okay, off we go. Wow, it's like a giant battleship. Okay, so this seat feels fairly comfortable, but it's really, it kind of locks you in place like a Lego piece. All right, let's go. All right, so I'm sitting completely straight up and down, butt tail to top of my head, very upright. The bars are swept back to meet me, and like I said, my butt feels like it's locked in. It's a Lego piece, and you kind of have to be. We'll get into it a little bit. I'm in the city, so don't badger on me for not, oh, you didn't even open it up. I'm in the city here, so I can't really do that. But I'll find some places where I don't have a lot of cars and do my best to tap into the torque of this bike a little bit. Horsepower and torque are crazy on this bike, so you kind of have to be plugged into the seat. Otherwise it'll kind of rip your arms off and throw you off the back seat. So again, this bike is a heavy bike. 705 pounds, something like that. I guess it used to be heavier in the earlier renditions of this. It was even heavier than that. But it doesn't feel that bad. So when you get up into these heavy bikes, like let's say, the Road Glide and a Street Glide, they're, 800 pounds. If you got the full, luggage kit on them, they can get, closer to 900 and change. They feel not too bad when you're riding. The weight kind of disappears. The BMW K1600 is another good example. That handles so beautifully when you're riding it, but when you're pick it off the stand and you're kind of on it and you feel it, it's top heavy, it feels a little bit cumbersome. This, because the seat height I think is so low, the engine being placed where it is, it's got a long wheelbase, and it doesn't have anything heavy, too much heavy stuff on the front. So like if you picture a Road Glide or a Street Glide, it's got this huge bat fairing, or the shark nose. There's a lot of extra weight on the handlebars that you don't have on this bike. So let's check. Let's see. Yeah, and maneuvering it around, just going around that little curve, that was pretty easy. Let's go up here. Down. Alright, so I don't think this has a quick shifter. Let me see if it does not. No quick shifter. No quick shifter down, and let's see about up. No quick shifter up. That's okay. It's fun shifting this. So I'm going over a bunch of little bumps and stuff in this construction stuff, and this is a heavy bike, so I would not expect this to be uncomfortable or a crappy ride, especially with these big tires too. I'm going 20 miles an hour right now. I do not feel like I'm on a 700-pound bike. My bike is 536 pounds, and I don't know. It's a totally different ergonomics setup, so, but this carries its weight, excuse me, burping, terrible. This carries its weight well, I should say. These mirrors are really good. I did a great job. Good job, Jeff, of dialing those in. I can see behind me perfectly on both sides. I can see everything. And again, on my height, I'm 5'8", 30-inch inseam. So I am kind of stretched out here. If my legs were an inch shorter, I'd be really stretching my legs to reach that shifter. And the bars, they do meet me, but I do feel like if I had another inch on my arm length, they'd be perfect. So I'm thinking for me, if I was to buy one of these, I think the R would probably be better for me with the mid controls and the handlebars a little bit more forward in a sportier position. I would definitely get an aftermarket exhaust for this. I mean, it sounds pretty good stock, this triple, but I've seen them online, people having some aftermarket pipes on these. It sounds nasty in a good way. Just homing up. Guys, don't be jealous. It's January 7th right now at around 3 o'clock, something like that. I'm not sure. And it's like 80 degrees here in Austin. So I'm kind of warm. I'm sweating a little bit because I just have a t-shirt on and my riding jacket. I don't believe this has one, but it would be nice if this bike had a hill hold or hill stop assist. When you're on a hill, just squeeze the brake, front brake, and it clamps down and holds you there in place, and you don't have to do anything. So when you get on a bike that's this heavy, if you're on a steep hill, you really got to mash down on that rear brake and make sure you keep pressure on it. Otherwise, you start rolling backwards. All right, so like I said before, we started off in rain mode. Let's hit this mode button and see if we can. Okay, we're in road mode now. Now, it's my understanding from the internet, I've saw a few people, ooh, road hazard, went right around that. Look at, no problems. This bike's very nimble for a bike of this weight. Look at this. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, I've seen that this bike is can make people disappear quickly. Okay, road definitely has much more pep than rain mode. I'll say that. But back to what I was going to say. These bikes are throttled down. They're from the factory. I think they're even on sport mode. They're taking away like 20 or 30% of the power, and they're still massively powerful. But in my experience, a bike like this with this much performance underneath your butt, even if you don't use it, you want to have it there. So when you need it, or if you want to, you got a nice straightaway and you just want to crack the throttle and go as fast as thing can go. I would suggest getting like a BT Moto, like a Bren Tune. That BT Moto, it will remove all the throttle restriction, and it does lots of things to make the bikes run better. I have one on my BMW, and it's like when I got it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like having a brand new bike. It really was. After 3 years of riding around my BMW R1250 RS, getting the tune and the full exhaust system from Akrapovic, it was like amazing. So I think I would do that for this bike too, just to make sure that it balanced out the torque throughout the rev range and the high ends, balanced out the idle, cold starts, shifting, all that stuff. A tune, it would be great for this. And those run about $800 or so for most bikes from BT Moto. If you go down the comment section, if you're interested, you can go to btmoto.com and you can get a discount. I think it's 5% off, which ends up being about $40-50 off if you use my coupon code, which is Texas, the number 2 in tires. And I'd also get a quick shifter for this, because when you get on this thing, you really got to hold on. And without that quick shifter, it makes it a little bit more nerve-wracking. But stocking sounds good. I don't know if you can hear it or not. It sounds pretty decent. Thunderous. I have my riding pants on, which have a Kevlar inline or inner lining, plus the pads and everything. But the on my right side is where the exhausts are, and they have exhaust plates on them to protect your leg, but I can still feel it coming through. And it's on my calf muscle, so it's not as bad as like a Ducati inline 4 or something like that, where you're cooking the inside of your thighs. But every time I rest my calf on that for a little bit, I can start to feel it cooking through my pants, and then I move my leg away. This has Brembo brakes. Up on this road, hopefully we'll get some spots where we can have a little bit of road to ourselves and crack on the throttle a little bit and test the brakes a bit too. I'm really digging these mirrors though. I like the way they're shaped, and they're really good. Sitting here at idle, I feel some thumpity thump in the handlebars, but not as strong. No, I don't think so. It's not as strong as a Harley, like a V-twin. I think it's a little bit more pronounced than this. I don't feel anything in the seat. I don't really feel anything in the pegs. Just the handlebars is where I feel some vibration. But if you're used to Harleys or riding like a road glide or a street glide or something like that, I think you're going to be really familiar with this kind of the ergonomics of this. It's got the low seat height. I'm flat footing it, no problem. It's got a nice big cushy seat that wraps around your butt. Got the swept back handlebars. It's got the forward controls. I gotta say, I like the looks of this bike. It's just kind of really cool, retro, steampunk, whatever. It's just a pretty cool looking bike. But it wouldn't look good with like apes or like 8-inch risers with 8 bars on it. It would look, I think, kind of silly. I don't know. But it's very smooth. Suspension's great. The suspension, the tires, all that stuff. The weight of the bike. It's a planted, comfortable ride for sure. And that again would be, I think, similar to a Harley that has the aftermarket suspension in it. I've never owned a Harley. I've test driven a bunch of them, but everyone I know that has one that I ride with, they've all did their suspension, changed it out because the stock suspension was crap. This one feels pretty good though. I haven't gotten the bike much over 50 miles an hour, so I don't really feel my face. I don't feel any wind, so I think this screen is doing a good job of tossing the wind like right on the top of my helmet and off. I don't have any head buffeting, zero. I just feel on my chest and my top of my arms and shoulders. And see, this bike will jump too, even though I'm in 3rd gear right now. And if I let off the throttle and kind of coast, I should downshift, but yeah, so you don't even need to downshift. You just hit the throttle and it kicks right up and goes. So let's go through here. Excuse me, I'm gonna open this lid again. It's hot. Yeah, that's better. This bike they haven't set it for the US, so it's got Celsius, so it's 27 degrees outside right now, according to the bike. So the exhaust system, like I said, is on the right hand side, so my right leg is getting a bit warm now. Sitting at the slide, I can feel. If I take my foot off the peg and put it out to the side, let's see, I don't feel it as much. I really wish I could take this out into the twisties, but it's too far from here. It's about a half-hour ride to get up there. Just so I could feel what this, how nimble it is and how it, goes into a lot of those curves. Okay, let's put the bike in sport mode. Okay, now it's in sport mode. This bike's got a lot of power. Just a quarter twist and I'm sitting 80 miles an hour on this road. This bike is a bona fide magician. It disappears people, disappears cars. So yeah, you really have to kind of prepare yourself mentally. Say, okay, I'm gonna crack the throttle, ready, go, and then you gotta hold on. So I find myself leaning into it when I hit the throttle. I lean into it. Yeah. So with a BT Moto tune on this bike, from what the website says, it throws another 20 horsepower on this bike. So and some extra torque too. I can't remember what that was, but I can't even imagine. I don't know if you can hear. I can hear the bike sputtering. The engine braking. Yeah, with this wheelbase, let me slow down a little bit because the wind is just too strong. Audio probably sucks. Alright, let me get back down here to normal speeds. With this wheelbase being longer and these huge tires, the back end tire there being a 240, this bike is going to want to track straight. I mean, it's just going to want to be, go straight forever. And just back there when I was getting on a throttle, the wind was blowing so hard from my right, it was pushing me towards the edge of the road, and I had to really kind of physically use my strength to pull the bike back towards center of the lane. So there's pros and cons to long wheelbases, big tires, stability, straight lines, all that good stuff. But when you're going normal speeds, you don't really feel the weight of this bike too much. It's quite nimble, and especially these handlebars are kind of raked out a little bit and back towards me, so you got a lot of leverage on the front end to kind of move the bike around. So that was my one good throttle twist. I got it all the way pegged and got us up to 100 real quick, and I could feel there's a lot more there, but this bike is somewhat like my bike a little bit in the way that it's very torquey. So the fun part of this bike is launching, is 0 to like 100 miles an hour. That's where the thrill is. That's where you're feeling that G-force, and you feel it pushing you back into the seat. And then after that, it's going to taper off a little bit. Still a fast bike, but that's the boxer engine, the V-twins, all those really torquey bikes. That's the fun part. So this does not feel at all like an inline 4 screamer. This off the line is just like an angry bull. It just it just goes. And I like the fact too that you can even be in not the wrong gear, but too high of a gear. The bike feels like it's bogging a little bit because it should be in 3rd, but you're in 4th or 5th, and you can just crack the throttle and it goes, okay, let's go, and it'll just go. Where other bikes will go, no wait, I said that wrong. Other bikes will not go. They will kind of chug a lug, like kind of, hey, change, downshift please. This seat feels really cool though, the Lego seat feeling, that plugged in feeling. But I think I would probably change my tune if I got out on twistier roads and wanted to move my butt around a little bit. But on these roads we're pretty much going straight, so it feels nice that I'm just kind of planted in it, and when I get on the throttle I don't feel like I'm going to fall off or get pushed off the back of the bike or anything like that. So we did rain, road, and sport. I felt a difference rain going to road to sport. I didn't feel as much of a difference. It's probably minute percentages of power increase and decrease depending on which way you go. Again, with I've test rode quite a few Triumphs now. I'm always impressed with their build quality. I know it just feels like all the switch gear, everything that you're looking at that's in front of you looks like it's solid and it's not going to break or crack or get rusty on you, or I don't know, it just just feels like quality. I really like that about the Triumph line. The brakes are grabby. They're good. They're strong. They feel like it. But they should be, because I'm 200 pounds on a skinny day. And this bike is 705, so that's 900 pounds of weight that this thing has got to bring to a halt. And in some cases, real fast. But Brembos are good. I mean, I have Brembos on my bike, and they are very grabby. I usually take the bike on the way back to the dealership. I usually take the bike on the highway, but I'm not going to do that today because it's on the way here. It was not a fun ride on the highway. It was very windy. It was pushing me all over the place. That means it's going to be way too loud for me to talk. But it's always nice just to take a bike on the highway and see what it feels like. I can already imagine this is going to be very smooth. It's going to feel much more comfortable riding on the highway actually than my bike, probably, because I've got the full fairing. My bike's not as heavy. I'm sitting up a little higher. It's got, you know, the skinnier tires. And my bike has a pretty decent wheelbase for it, though, for what it is. I was talking to a guy, I interviewed a guy a long time ago that has one of these, and he said one of the downsides of it is it depends on how you ride. I know he rides pretty aggressive, but you go through rear tires pretty fast because this bike has a lot of torque, and if you like to play hooligan on it and get on the throttle a lot, that 240 tire will get burnt through pretty quickly, and they're not cheap. They're expensive, those tires, 240 millimeter tires. So that's kind of a downside of having that giant tire in the back. Tip in here. Feels very stable. You know what, I'm not going to go on the highway because it looks a little bit more crowded than the frontage road here, so you stay here. Go a little faster! Yeah, this was more fun doing this than going on the highway. Actually got through here faster than the highway people. Having the forward controls, and when I did get up to 80 plus miles, closer to 100 miles an hour, you start to feel a lot more wind on your lower legs and your feet because they're up there in the front. But if you're used to cruisers, you would be used to that. Yeah. Well, I had a lot of fun on this bike. I just got a little bit more ways to go to get back to the dealership. This is a cool bike. It's great. It's quite expensive though. I think they're around 26 and change, $27,000, something like that. So it is an expensive bike, but it is the biggest production motor, highest HP and torque on a cruiser, I think, for sure. And the build quality and all the tech. I didn't go through it, but you can go deep into the menu here on the like sport mode, road mode. You can go in the menu even behind those modes and change ABS, change traction, change quite a few things, and get it the way you want it. But I didn't do that. Yeah, there's little attention to detail, things like this cog I showed you before. When you change gears. Let's see, it's hit neutral. I love it. It's so it's like, you know, mechanical. It's showing that I'm actually a mechanical thing. Here we go. First gear. Yeah, that's cool. Cool. So anybody that owns one of these, I'm obviously not an owner, I'm just test riding it, and I can only gather so much information on a 15-20 minute ride. So anybody that owns one of these that has anything to add to my discussion, or things I missed or maybe said wrong, let me know. It'd be really interesting to hear from somebody that has a traditional cruiser like an Indian or a Harley, and also has one of these or bought one of these afterwards, just to hear the comparisons of the ride to them. I've ridden tons of Harleys, but it's been a while. Can't really remember every little detail. But yeah, comments below. Let me have it. I really want to get your inputs. That'd be great. And that'll also help. If someone's looking to buy one of these, and they see my video and they just like, oh, let me check out this dude. What's he talking about? And to get some owners' comments down in the bottom, that'd be very helpful for them as well. Woohoo! Just getting low on fuel. That's one thing I'm going to look up, and I'll put it on the screen. I think this thing probably chugs fuel, I would imagine, with this engine size and these tires. All right, thanks for watching this video, but before we go, I just want to show you the exhaust and where they go, because it's a little bit different than other bikes and other triples. See, on this side, it's an inline 3. The exhaust comes out the right side of the bike. 2 of the exhausts come out here on this side. So this is the one that was hitting my leg right here, this one, and this one, these two. So 2 of the exhausts come out here, and the third one comes out, look at that, single-sided swing arm. That looks really cool with the open rim on this side. And there's the shaft drive there. But there's the other exhaust. It comes out right here underneath and in front of the tire. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, friends, thanks for joining me on that. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, comment below if you have any awesome insights about this bike that you want to share or correct me on. Please go ahead and do that. Appreciate it. Subscribe and like if you haven't. Share it. All those wonderful things. Appreciate it. Help me out and hit that subscribe button. Until next time, see you guys later. Bye.